Sporting bandwagon continues to roll on. First it was rugby, then soccer, and now boxing.
So the winner by split decision from Newbridge, Wales.
Tonight, Joe Calzaghe reigns supreme as the new light heavyweight king of the world.
Brilliant fight, awesome, absolutely amazing. He couldn't have done much better.
So, what next for the champ as he eyes a fortune and a place in boxing's Hall of Fame? Hello, it was a combination of pure grit, of sheer determination and of sporting passion. Joe Calzaghe fighting to the very last, beating America's so-called executioner Bernard Hopkins and earning himself a place in Welsh sporting history.
Thousands of fans had made the long journey to Las Vegas, with millions more watching on TV around the world as the undisputed world champion took his unbeaten record to 45 fights.
But it wasn't easy work for the man from Newbridge, with a heart-stopping moment in the first round as Joe was knocked to the floor. Our sports correspondent Richard Morgan was in Las Vegas with some of the world's biggest stars, all gathered to see Joe's journey to victory.
It was a star-studded night in the desert. Sylvester Stallone, Arnold Schwarzenegger and Catherine Zeta-Jones among the famous faces at ringside. Fans enjoyed every minute.
I've been following boxing since 1948. It was the greatest performance. We were in tears, honestly. We just can't believe a guy, and to get the decision on home territory.
I think Calzaghe's youth shone through in the end, his fitness. I think at the end of the day Hopkins' age was what caught him out at the end.
The post-match press conference followed the same pattern as the pre-match one. Joe was gracious in victory.
Hopkins has been a great ambassador for boxing. I always had respect for him before the fight. I respect him now. He just gave me one of my toughest fights at 43. As an athlete, to keep fighting and give you such a tough fight, you know, he's utmost respect for him.
Bernard Hopkins, when he emerged, was anything but, refusing to accept defeat to the Welshman.
I got beat tonight, but it wasn't by Joe Calzaghe. And I can deal with that.
Well, it's been quite a week here in Las Vegas, and Joe Calzaghe has put the seal on it by winning another coveted boxing title. It's now hard to argue with his position in boxing's Hall of Fame and as one of Wales's greatest ever sportsmen. Richard Morgan, Wales tonight in Las Vegas.
Well, if Joe didn't beat him, who did?
Who knows? Well, one place that's celebrating Joe's victory more than most is his hometown of Newbridge, and it was the town's rugby club that was at the focal point of those celebrations.
There's hundreds gathered there in the small hours of yesterday to watch the fight on the big screen. And as Justina Simpson reports, many now think Joe should be honoured for his achievements.
It was the moment they'd been waiting for. Joe proved what his fans already knew. He is the best in the world.
Towards the end I was getting worried, but never doubted him. But the way he came back is great from the first round.
He's so fantastic, Joe. He's always going to be the greatest in Wales, isn't he?
Even though they weren't in Vegas, watching the fight in Joe's hometown was the next best thing. Well, it may be raining here in Newbridge today, but it certainly hasn't dampened people's enthusiasm for what happened out in Vegas. And many people here are now wondering what the future holds for this man.
Knighthood, perhaps? Yeah, so Joe, that sounds good.
Some sort of award anyway, like Sir Tom Jones, perhaps Joe Calzaghe MBE or whatever.
So everybody's just waiting for his next fight now.
Even in the local barbers today, everyone's reliving that magic moment. You've put it on for all your customers to watch.
Yeah, I just put it on for the people who haven't seen it. So you all seem to be enjoying it this morning.
Excellent, because lots of people missed it. So what better, have a barber who's not paying attention to haircuts?
Yeah, there's been a couple of dodgy ones going out today.
But whether they watched in the barbers or on the big screen, it was a night Newbridge will never forget, and many would now like to see Joe awarded for his achievements. Justina Simpson, Wales Tonight in Newbridge.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, live now to Justina Simpson, who's with Joe's sister at the family home in Blackwood. Justina.
Oh, thanks, John. I tell you what, if you thought the fans were excited there in my report, can you imagine how his family felt when they were watching? And as you say, I'm delighted to say I'm joined by Melissa now, Joe's sister. What on earth were you going through when you were sat on this couch watching your brother?
I wasn't sat on the couch, I was on the floor in my birthing position. It was so nerve-wracking.
Goodness me. And so what was going through your mind?
It was so much going through your mind. It was scared with praying that everything would be okay. But as soon as I seen it, he went down and got back up in the first round, I knew that he'd win.
And have you spoken to him? What's he been saying to you on the phone?
He's very pleased. He's a bit upset that he didn't perform the way that he usually does, but he was dragged down by a not very good opponent. I don't think so. But very pleased. Love the reception out there. He's just really, really happy.
You were a little bit jealous though, weren't you, seeing him with all those celebrities watching?
Definitely, yeah. All my idols since we were children. It was amazing. But I couldn't be there, unfortunately, but watching him at home and just being so proud, that was big enough for me.
You did give him a bit of a fright though, didn't you? Because you said you almost went into labour whilst you were watching him.
That was the first round knockdown, so I just straight away got in a missionary position, in a position ready for labour, just in case. But happily it went quite smoothly after that, and I knew he was in control, so...
And we're joined now by a lot of cheeky chappies here, Joe's nieces and nephews, and one girl who's certainly the most popular girl in school at the moment is Joe's niece here, Chloe. What do you think of what your uncle's done?
Well, I think he's amazing. Everything he's achieved makes me really happy.
What's the kids saying to you in the playground then?
Well, they're really proud of him as well. They're all fans.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much, and good luck with the baby. I know you're expecting a little girl.
Yes, my girl, yes. And I'm going to name her after her godmother, Alba.
Oh, well, listen, I know you're excited to see Joe. He's back in Wales tomorrow, and then he's going on a much-deserved holiday. And one thing's for sure, he's going to get one heck of a welcome when he comes back to this house. Now back to you.
Justina, thank you very much indeed. Fantastic. We'll have more reaction to Joe Calzaghe's win a little later in the programme.
Let's get more now on that historic boxing victory by Joe Calzaghe. And we're joined now by Simon Block from the British Boxing Board of Control and our sports correspondent Richard Morgan, who's literally just got back. First of all, Simon, what can we expect next for Joe?
Well, they'll be sitting down now and negotiating, or they will be very shortly, with other names in the sport. And the two names that have been put in the frame, of course, Kelly Pavlik, the middleweight champion, who's probably America's most popular boxer, and of course Roy Jones, who was possibly one of the greatest fighters of the last 10 or 15 years. Maybe not quite the article that he once was, but nevertheless that would be an attractive fight. Either of those contests over here in Great Britain, and who knows, at the Millennium Stadium, I think would be tremendous attractions.
And very big purses on those fights.
I'm sure both boxers will get very, very well paid, yes.
Richard, you're looking a bit bleary-eyed.
Bit jet-lagged.
What was the atmosphere like over there? You were ringside.
Yeah, I could get used to that, John, actually. It was a fantastic experience. You'll have noticed some of the celebrities there, the likes of Bruce Willis and Sylvester Stallone. He went down well with the fans when he walked out. They're all chanting Rocky repeatedly. And I think we should just acknowledge how well Joe has done there, really. I mean, Bernard Hopkins may be a slightly diminished fighter compared with what he once was, but I think to go over to the US and beat him on his home turf, with the judges and all the rest of it, is quite an achievement, really. I know he's disappointed with the style of the fight, but given the negativity that Hopkins imposed on him, I think he probably did as well as he could.
I have to ask you, Richard, how starstruck were you with all those big names, Al Pacino, Sylvester Stallone out there? Did you find yourself mouth open thinking,
Yes.
gosh, am I really here?
Well, I try not to do this as a rule, but we were sitting very close to the VIP entrance ringside on Saturday, and myself and the cameraman Joe Williams, we made sure we had a few pictures taken with Tom Jones, Simon Cowell. Unfortunately, the battery on his camera ran out before Sylvester Stallone came in, so we didn't get as many as we'd wished, actually, but it was great.
Simon, Joe is one of the greatest fighters, isn't he?
Yes, he's made his mark, not just in Welsh history, but of course British history as well. It's always very difficult when you talk about who's the greatest, but clearly on any list of the greatest British fighters, he's got to be there somewhere.
Gentlemen, thank you very much indeed, and we'll be talking about it for months to come. Thank you.
You're coming to Cardiff next, there you go. Okay, turning to